Alright guys, what y'all are standing in right now, this is what is called a hard rock mine. This mine was operational from 1898 until 1906. What they would be looking for inside of this mine is, if y'all want to take a quick look right up there for me at that vein of white rock. That white rock is called quartz, and inside of that quartz is where all of the gold would be found down inside of this mine. Now, a typical vein of white quartz rock that you would usually be finding would be around 5 to 6 inches wide to around a foot. This giant opening that we have here behind us, this is actually where the world's largest piece of white quartz rock was ever pulled out of a hard rock mine. It spanned 22 feet wide from side to side, and it stretched from all the way to the end of that cavern way down there to right above our heads. And these are actually leftover bridges from the original vein that they found. They left over 3 bridges. There's a bridge right there. Second bridge is right up there in the middle, and the third bridge is at the very end down there. Now, in each 3 of those bridges that they left over, there was actually an estimated $40,000 worth of gold in each single one of those bridges. And in a single day of mining down here in this one very big area, they pulled out 55.4 pounds worth of gold in a single day of mining down here, which is more than $1 million in today's gold price. So once they found that vein of quartz, what they would do is they would take chisels and chisel out holes into the face of that rock. Then they would fill each hole all the way to the very, very top of dynamite. And once they did that, they would tie all those dynamite pieces together, they would light them, and then they would blast that rock out. And once that rock was blasted out, they would put that rock inside of a mine cart, send it down the tracks, and then that rock would eventually make it out to the old stamp mill that we used to have out back of this mine. Now once that rock reached that mill, they would send that rock over giant crushers. They would crush that rock up into a powder form, and once that rock was in a powder form, they would run that rock over hot pools of mercury, and that is how they would separate the gold from the rock inside of this mine. And now the reason that these miners went through this very, very long process is because they had a special name for this gold that they would be finding inside of here, and it was called flour gold. And now the reason that it was called flour gold is because each piece of gold that you'd be finding inside of that quartz rock would actually be the size of a grain of cooking flour. So it would typically take around 2 to 3 tons of that white quartz rock just to equal a single ounce of gold down here in this mine that we're walking through today. It was a very long process for our miners to accomplish things. So, all right, folks, we're going to head on down these steps. Be sure and watch your heads up here on these rocks. Use these handrails. This will be the last set of steps that we'll be going down here. They did that is they would have one miner holding a star-shaped chisel like this one, and they would have another miner holding a much bigger hammer than the one that I have. And what they would do is stick that chisel up against that wall. One miner would actually hold on to this chisel, and the second miner would actually strike it. They would keep that chisel turning just like this right here for 12 hours a day, and they would get paid $1.25 for the entire day down here to actually do this job. Now, to make a single dynamite blast, they actually had to have 12 of these holes. and each hole had to be 6 feet deep. It would take 2 hours to go a single foot in each single one of these holes. So it would actually take around 90 man-hours just to move 6 feet further into the face of the rock. And that's exactly how they made all these tunnels like we're walking through today. So you can imagine the amount of man-hours that actually take to create this mine down there. But now the reason that those miners have to keep that signal firm inside of that rock is because that metal would get very, very hot. If they had kept that signal sitting there while it was hot, that signal would actually end up concreting itself into the face of the rock like that signal right up there. You know, has that ever happened down here with these miners? A miner would actually end up losing his entire day's worth of pay to cover the cost of a brand new signal. They would still have to get one of these stuck in the side of the wall while they were working together. Now just make a whole run up to the way to do these little signals inside of the wall. Big signal right down there, and the bad day work. Back to 2 signals up here in the exact same hole. So I guess they got a little stuff to try to signal out with another signal. Start off stuff. Issue inside of this mine. However, the major problem that this drill created is that this drill used to be very, very loud. Now this drill was underneath water for 85 to 90 years. They all used to run on air compression, and this drill does still work. And I will turn it on for you today so you can listen to it. It runs on 5 to 10% of its original power, but it is still fairly loud, so you may want to cover your ears for a short amount of seconds. And whenever I turn this drill off, though, I want you to actually uncover and listen to the echo that it makes around here. Is everybody ready?
Ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Now that was just 5% of its original power right there. So back in the day on full power, they would actually have 5 to 6 of these drills running at the exact same time in small space like we're all standing in right now. And if you were actually down here working on this drill, you would end up going deaf in around 2 weeks, and you only got paid an extra quarter to do so. You got paid $1.50 instead of $1.25 to run this drill. Ultimately end up losing your hearing. They tried to come up with a system to combat this. However, they tried to make them come down here and work on this drill for about a week, week and a half. They go above ground and work for an additional 4.5 weeks to 5 weeks. However, that only halted the deafness process for an additional 4 to 5 months, and actually still ended up losing their hearing down here and all for an extra quarter. And all due to this drill back there. Now, even in 1898, whenever this mine was first opened, we actually had light bulbs inside of this mine. They were the old Edison-style light bulbs. However, all of those light bulbs, they were all run on a series circuit. So that means if one light bulb in this mine ever went out, every single one of them in this mine actually went out. So we only had light bulbs above the mine cart tracks inside of this mine. So the amount of light that these miners would be working with back here in these blast tunnels like we're in right now would actually be this amount of light right here. Now this lighter that I'm holding actually gives off more light than the Edison-style light bulbs that we would have inside of this mine. So you can truly imagine how dark it would be down inside of here. So back in the day, each miner, they would get 3 candles to use their light for the entire day. So they started working in pairs. The first miner used their first 3 candles. The second miner used their last 3 candles. Hopefully that would give them enough light at the end of the day to make it out once they were finished working down here. But now the reason that I'm showing y'all this is once they would go to light that dynamite, I don't know if any of y'all ever tried to take off running with a candle or not, but it does just go completely dark. And so these miners would actually have to feel their way through these tunnels in this darkness like we're all in right now to find their way to a safety tunnel or outside the mine before one of these blasts actually went on.